I mean, I just feel like we keep putting restrictions on who Brock Purdy is, and I want to see him do it with limited weapons around him, not because I need to see it, because I want the nation to see it to shut everyone up.
No. First of all, nobody's going to shut up. You know that's not true. Nobody's going to shut up because it's the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm going to say the Niners are 14-point favorites, and we don't even know who's playing at wide receiver. No, it's not going to shut anybody up. Because the next week he plays the Cowboys, and if he throws 3 picks on Sunday Night Football, people are going to say, see, I told you. You know how it is. It's week to week. That's not going to shut up anybody. But I thought it was interesting. Mike Florio joined us yesterday, and he said it's possible that Brock Purdy could be in the MVP discussion.
Why not? He's a quarterback who's putting up unreal numbers.
But come on, to say Brock Purdy MVP? Go ahead, Spinotti.
If there's a team of destiny in the NFC, it feels like the 49ers. And if there's a team of destiny in the AFC, it feels like the Dolphins. Now, if it comes down to those 2 teams as the 1 seed, 2 is probably the MVP, but there's still a chance that Brock Purdy is going to get some serious consideration if he presides over this team, has good numbers, and the 49ers end up the 1 seed in the NFC. And right now, I would say they're the most likely team in the NFC to be the 1 seed.
So Brock Purdy's 10th in passing, 736 yards. He's averaging 7.1 in attempt. Yards per game, Brock Purdy's at 245 after coming off the 300-yard performance against the New York Giants. So far, no interceptions, 4 touchdown passes. He's been sacked 6 times. We're talking about MVP. All right, MVP of the league. I'm not even sure Brock Purdy's the MVP of this football team and this offense.
Yeah, but you would also acknowledge that happens from time to time, and we bestow MVP qualities on the quarterback position due to the position.
I totally agree with that. But he's not even the MVP of this offense. Christian McCaffrey is.
Okay.
So MVP and Brock Purdy, I mean, I just want to see him get healthy.
Well, but I
just want to see him get through the season.
If he's in the MVP conversation, that means the Niners are really good.
Yeah, that means
they are.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
That would be fascinating. Brock Purdy, MVP. Now we're talking about when he does sign his deal, we're talking mega millions, right? Not just million, we're talking mega millions.
Well, let me give you Jalen Hurts' numbers, just the raw numbers. And
right now?
No, last year, because he was in the MVP conversation all year last year.
Finished second.
Right? They were 14-1 when he started games. He had a 66% completion percentage. He threw for 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Now, he ran for a whole lot as well.
Yeah.
I think I got the running numbers right here that are in front of me. His runs, boom, 760 yards with 13 touchdowns.
That's the difference.
So you're looking at a guy that put together almost 4,500, close to 5,000 total yards, and 39 total touchdowns.
Wait, 22 touchdown passes, you said?
22 and 13, so
35 total touchdowns.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's really good.
Those are MVP numbers.
Really good. So let's say that Brock Purdy puts together 4,000-plus passing yards, 30 touchdowns, under 10 interceptions. He will be in that mix. He will be in that mix because if you're going to go 14-3, if you're going to go 15-2, 13-4, your quarterback's going to put up great numbers.
Right.
9 times out of 10. And he's going to get a lot of votes.
888-957-9570. Brock Purdy, MVP? MVP discussion? I know it's very, very early. But Brock Purdy, could you see him being the MVP of the National Football League? Brock Purdy? Look, if the one knock on Shanahan is his inability to find a quarterback, does the fact that Brock is already in the MVP discussion start to change that narrative on Shanahan and the quarterback?
Kind of like that.
Here's what Mike Florio said.
Kind of like that.
They have bungled the quarterback position. That is the asterisk on this tenure. They didn't scout Patrick Mahomes in 2017 because Kyle Shanahan thought he was signing Kirk Cousins.
It's all good.
They have bungled the quarterback position. That is the asterisk on this tenure. They didn't scout Patrick Mahomes in 2017 because Kyle Shanahan thought he was signing Kirk Cousins the next year as a free agent. They somehow pivoted to Jimmy Garoppolo during the 2017 season and didn't go after Cousins, obviously, in 2018. Tom Brady wanted to come play for them in 2020, and they said no thank you. And then they saw Kyle got to sit and watch Super Bowl 55. Patrick Mahomes, the guy he didn't scout, against Tom Brady, the guy he didn't want. And I think that contributed to them making that desperate move up to number 3. They blew it with Trey Lance. The Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, I hate that term, but that's what everybody calls the last guy taken in the draft. But they redeemed themselves that way. And I think one of the reasons they still have their jobs and were able to blow that pick as badly as they did and to trade up to get Trey Lance is because the team is otherwise so damn good.
That's Mike Florio yesterday, Pro Football Talk, who was in a very good mood. It's just hard for me. We'll react to that in just a second. I'm just, during that clip, I just kept saying, Brock Purdy MVP. And I'm thinking, he's not even an MVP of this offense. It's Christian McCaffrey. Christian, you want to shut up, people? Take Christian McCaffrey off the field.
Was Matt Ryan the MVP of the Falcon offense? I don't know. I'm asking you out loud.
I thought he was.
Okay.
I mean, you could make the argument that it was Julio, but Matt Ryan put up some crazy numbers.
No,
he
did. He did. And I mean, we've cited those. I'm just asking. You know,
he was the guy.
Okay.
I think he will throw for a lot more yard. I don't know if Purdy's going to be able to get to that yardage and those touchdowns that Matt Ryan did that season. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, we're 3 games in, right?
Right.
Give me 8, 9 games. We'll have a better feel for this. I'm just looking at your most valuable players over the last 11 years have all been quarterbacks, right? Adrian Peterson, 2012,
right.
Last time a running back, and then a bunch of quarterbacks, and then LT. You know what I mean? So you're looking at basically 2 running backs in the last 25 years,
right?
Give or take.
I know it's unrealistic, which is why I told people not to bet on it. It's all quarterbacks, unfortunately. That Rio Matt Ryan was it 2016?
Matt Ryan was 2016. Cam Newton was the year before, 2015. 2017, Tom Brady.
Matt Ryan threw for 4,944 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable season.
If Brock Purdy sniffs 4,000, I mean, he may not sniff 4,000 on this team.
Don't you think most observers would say Julio was at the height of his powers and was one of the great wide receiver seasons of all? Not to take anything away from Matt Ryan, but using your, hey, he's not even the MVP of his own team. I think a lot of people would say
Julio was the big difference maker, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
who got doubled, who got all the attention
through 3 wins. Do you think Christian McCaffrey's the best player on the team, but has he been the reason that the offense is moving the ball?
Best player on offense, no doubt about it. Yes, I think he is. Okay. I think he has made this offense go to another level.
Because I think
his running ability and the way he attracts attention is the reason why so many other guys are eating.
That I agree with, but they are throwing the ball like 20 times in each first half.
They are throwing in a lot of screens, a lot of slants.
And it's because of the fear of the run game that's opening that up. I acknowledge.
And the McCaffrey as well. McCaffrey's opened up everything.
No doubt.
To me, McCaffrey is the guy.
So if they're in the contention, I mean, these are great problems to have. We're over here, talking about who should the MVP be if the Niners end up having a great year. But I do think both of these guys are going to be in the conversation.
Yeah, no doubt.
And if you do it with guys missing time, Debo misses some time, Ayuk misses some time, the conversation starts to evolve.
It does. 888-957-9570. We'll get to the lines in just a second about this conversation. Brock Purdy MVP, but also I don't want to shift the focus away from the Arizona Cardinals as well. Kevin Kugler will join us at 8 o'clock. Don't forget Steve Kerr, 9 o'clock. Head coach of the Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr will join us at 9 o'clock. Kevin Kugler at 8, who will be on a call for Fox Sports. These Arizona Cardinals, is there anything that makes you fear them? Is there any? Because I don't want to fall into the trap. And I'm thinking, okay, the Niners cannot overlook this team. They do have speed on offense. I know they're missing a lot of guys, but Rondale Moore is a game breaker.
Oh, I like Rondale Moore. I think he was poorly used last year.
Exactly. Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
is a very good.
He will get behind you.
He will get behind you. He's a solid receiver.
Still don't think he's worth the first-round pick, but
maybe not. Maybe you overpay for him, but he's a problem.
He is.
Zach Ertz, a very reliable tight end.
Yeah.
Very solid. Coming back home, right? Mm-hmm. It's a homecoming for him. Joshua Dobbs, we'll see, but he showed some speed last week. Some speed I didn't think he had.
I think Dobbs has really improved his status amongst the league. I think there are going to be teams that are looking at him as a viable replacement for whatever they've got at quarterback in the interim. Like if you're looking for a placeholder, Dobbs has thrown his name in the mix.
And James Conner, who destroyed the Niners. Last time Kevin Kugler was on a call, Spinotti, if you could play the clip. That game, he had a halfback screen for like 55 yards, and he ran across the field. I said, is that Earl Campbell? Is that Bo Jackson? No, it was James Conner. And he's a very capable running back who you got to pay attention to.
I think the one area where I feel the most confident in is I think early in this game, their offense is going to look better. When they only had 3 days to prepare for the Giants, it kind of felt like it in that first half, didn't it?
No doubt.
Like, they've been way more detail-oriented on their drives and gone, like, one thing that Shanahan has done great with Brock feels like first couple drives, bang, 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 ball goes right down the field. I mean, methodical, clinical, whatever word you want to use to describe
Three opening drives for the Niners this season. They scored points on all of them. 2 touchdowns against the Rams and the Steelers, and, of course, the field goal last week against the Giants.
And that drive didn't even look that great.
No,
if we're being honest.
It didn't. It was about 2 no throws on that play.
Right? Now you got 10 days against a familiar opponent. At least you understand their personnel.
It is different, though. It is different how Gannon's using them.
No doubt.
Kingsbury's offense was so basic. No motions, spread offense, no fullback. There was no creativity to his offense.
Do you fear Dobbs a little more than maybe you would Kyler in this game?
Well, this offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing, and we're going to talk to John Gambadoro tomorrow about the Arizona Cardinals. They're a little they're crafty on offense. They do some things like the 49ers, some jet sweeps.
Yeah.
They'll line up a run. Like Grondale Moore was lined up in the backfield last week when he ran for that long touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys. They do some creative things on offense that makes you scratch your head. Steve Wilkes going to have his work cut out for him early on in his football game.
I think the one thing with Rondale Moore is last year, I just didn't know what they were trying to do with him. His first year, his rookie year, he looked like a version of a Deebo Samuel where he could do a lot of little things.
Yep.
I mean, Percy Harvin, however you want to call it. It's like a guy you need to get in space and you need to utilize his speed. Didn't see that last year. Seeing it this year, I'm like, dude, that's the player I really liked because I liked that draft pick.
Yeah, no, he's solid, man.
He's really like him.
So we'll see what happens with Arizona. Let's go.
I think the Gannon thing is very interesting because similar to Sirianni, I made sweeping
proclamations about him.
about who he was based on some video. If you ask around the league, a lot of people say he's very high level. Now, you could be a cynic and say that's what everyone says about every coach. And he seems to be very buttoned up. And his guys on the sidelines in games are clearly responding to him.
Yeah, no doubt. Jonathan Gannon, he says some things, and I want killers. But you know what? They play like they're killers. They do. They're flying around to the football down there in Arizona. So, and it's a divisional game. Divisional games can be different. They are different. Should the Niners dominate? They should. But if Deebo doesn't play and he's compromised and Ayuk is compromised with the shoulder injury, and you don't have Juwan Jennings, who I think is really starting to show how important he is to this offense in terms of his run blocking, his third down catching, the physicality he brings to the table. Whereas Miami, we're talking about the Dolphins yesterday, all their speed guys. Shanahan loves these big physical guys. And Juwan Jennings not playing could hurt your run game on Sunday. I don't think anybody's thinking about that.